dear students. Good morning. I hope you are well and safe. Stay at home, keep yourselves healthy and happy so that you can study hard at home and get high marks. I want you to follow the directions of the medical authorities. And today we have Grammar 1 course, units 15 and 16. My advice to you is that if you have any questions, please let me know. Write comments, write any questions. I want to help you, and you can, of course, profit from these lectures. Let's begin. We have here past perfect, units 15. I had done, I had done, I had drunk, I had gone, I had made, I had cooked, I had expected, I had arrived, so I had plus the past participle of the main verb. Done, do, did, done. We have the third part. And so you must know well the past participle of the irregular verbs. Regular verbs are made, past into by adding IED, but irregular have different, sometimes, you have to know it by heart, otherwise you will make mistakes in this area. So be careful. Study this example situation. We have at 10:30 and we have here at 11. So this situation, we'll see. Sarah went to a party last week. Paul went to the party too, but they didn't see each other. Paul left the party at 10:30 and Sarah arrived at 11 o'clock. So when Sarah arrived at the party, Paul wasn't there. He had gone home. He had left the party. Had gone is the past perfect. So we have had gone, the past perfect simple. We have here in this box, we have examples. I, we, they, you, he, she, it. All the pronouns and the nouns, singular and the plural, take had. No change. Whereas with the present perfect, we have and has. All right. So we have here I, we, they, you, he, she, and it. We have had or I'd, he'd is abbreviated or shortened. Had gone, had seen, had finished, etc. The past perfect simple is had plus past participle of the main verb. Had gone, had seen, had finished, etc. Sometimes we talk about something that happened in the past. Sarah arrived at the party. This is the starting point of the story. Then, if we want to talk about things that happened before this time, we used the past perfect tense. When Sarah arrived at the party, Paul had already gone home. So we have Paul had gone home before Sarah arrived. Both tenses, both actions took place in the past, but one before the other. Some more examples. When we got home last night, we found that somebody had broken into the flat. Katie didn't want to go to the cinema with us because she had already seen the film. At first, I thought I had done the right thing, but I soon realized that I had made a big mistake. The man sitting next to me on the phone or in the plane was very nervous. He hadn't flown before, or he had never flown before. Compare the present perfect have seen and the past perfect had seen. So the present perfect is connected to the present time, to now. It has a relation with now, connection. But the past perfect is related to the past moment, to the past, not now. Let's study these examples to understand the differences between present perfect and the past perfect. Who is that woman? I have never seen her before. Means before now. I didn't know who she was. I had never seen her before. Means before that time. We aren't hungry. We have just had lunch. We weren't hungry. We had just had lunch in the past. The house is dirty. They haven't cleaned it for weeks, for ages. It is still dirty. It is about now. The house was dirty. They hadn't cleaned it for weeks. That is related to an action happened in the past. It is related to the past, connected with the past moment. Compare the past simple left or was, etc., and the past perfect had left, had been, had seen, and so on. Was Tom there when you arrived? Yes, but he left soon afterwards. Was Tom there when you arrived? No, he had already left. The second sentence, he had left before I arrived. But the first one, he had left after I arrived. Because but he left soon afterwards, after I arrived. Kate wasn't at home when I phoned. She was at her mother's house at the time. Kate had just gone home when I phoned. She had been at her mother's home. So we have in the past simple, we have two actions in this at the same time in the past. But in the past perfect is something different. The past perfect, we had something happened in the past and something happened before that and it must be used in the past perfect. Now, let's turn to Unit 16. Past perfect continuous. I had been doing. I had been doing, running, studying, sleeping, writing, reading, swimming, walking, and so on. So we have the main verb plus ing. The main verb, you add ing. I had been, and this is used with all the pronouns and nouns. I, you, we, they, he, she, and it. And all numbers or names, singular and plural. Let's study this example situation. Yesterday morning. Yesterday morning, I got up and looked out of the window. The sun was shining, but the ground was very wet. It had been raining. It was not raining when I looked out of the window. The sun was shining, but it had been raining before. Had been plus ing, the main verb, is the past perfect continuous. We have I, we, you, they, he, she, and it plus had, and it can be shortened into id, being, and doing, working, playing, studying, and so on. Some more examples. When the boys came into the house, their clothes were dirty. Their hair was untidy, and one of them had a black eye. They had been fighting. They had been fighting before they arrived. I was very tired when I got home. I had been working hard all day. When I went to Madrid a few years ago, I stayed with a friend of mine. She had been living there only a short time, but knew the town very well. You can say that something had been happening for a period of time before something else happened in the past. We had been playing tennis for about half an hour when it started to rain heavily. George went to the doctor last night. He hadn't been feeling well for some time. So an action was taking place before another action. Both happened in the past. Compare have been happening, that is present perfect continuous, and had been happening, past perfect continuous. We have here I have been doing something. I had been doing something. I hope the bus comes soon. I have been waiting for 20 minutes before now. At last the bus came. I had been waiting for 20 minutes before the bus came. That's related to the past. James is out of breath. He has been running. The action is related to the present moment. James was out of breath. He had been running in the past. Compare was plus ing, that is past continuous, and had been plus ing, past perfect continuous. It wasn't raining when we went out. The sun was shining. But it had been raining, so the ground was wet. And the action was or is related to the past. Kathy was sitting in the armchair resting. She was tired because she had been working very hard. So you have to compare between the past continuous and the past perfect continuous. Some verbs, for example, know and like, are not normally used in the continuous at all. You cannot use it in the present continuous, in the past continuous, in the present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, future continuous, any continuous tense. You cannot use these verbs because they do not indicate, they do not refer to actions, they refer to a state of mind. We were good friends. We had known each other for years. We had known each other for ages. And not had been knowing. It is wrong to say had been knowing. Now, I think we are covered, in this lecture, we have covered two tenses. We have talked about the past perfect continuous. We have compared it with the present perfect, with the past simple, and we talked about the differences between the present perfect continuous and the past perfect continuous. The present perfect continuous is related, centered in the present moment. It is related to now. But the past perfect continuous and simple, they are related to the past. They are connected, referring to some point of time in the past. So be careful when you use the past perfect and the past perfect continuous, and try to differentiate between the past perfect and the present perfect. The past perfect continuous and the present perfect continuous, they are different. They are completely different. So you have to make sure that you use these tenses correctly. Don't make mistakes, especially when you speak or write, because when you make mistakes, you will lose marks, you will lower your grade, and this will affect your academic performance, both at the university and outside. So try to be perfect. This is the end of this lecture, and I hope you are well and safe. Goodbye for the present moment. Goodbye for now, and see you next lecture. Thank you.